And we're back. So I wanted to take some time out of the ether to discuss the overmind. The overmind, the most powerful mind there is the same thing as the unconscious, which is the same thing as the subconscious. But a lot of people use the word subconscious. The word unconscious is actually the best terminology you can use because Carl Jung put it like this. I'm pretty sure it was Carl Jung that put it like this. The subconscious mind implies subordinate. Like the subconscious is the subordinate to the conscious mind, which is not true at all. It's actually the other way around. So that's why the terminology subconscious mind is not so good. It's better to say unconscious mind, or what I like to say even better than that is the overmind. Overmind can still imply unconscious because it's above. Consciousness is right here. It's what you're focused on right here and now. The overmind is where everything you've learned is stored, and it can happen automatically. Yes, it's your habits and it's all those kind of things, but it's also training. So, like, I'll give you the example. Let's say you're training in boxing and you got all the combos down. Everything has been programmed into your body, your muscle memory. Your body could do it all on its own. You actually hit harder when you get slightly tired. Some people say like, oh yeah, but you're warmed up. And yes, okay, you could call it like warmed up or whatever. But like I'm even talking about when you're slightly tired. You're not exhausted, completely fatigued, but you're at least tired enough to where your body is relaxed enough because power, speed comes from a relaxed body. And the overmind, even though you're tired, the overmind at that point, because it's stored everything you've learned, how to release the combinations, will release the combinations. Even though you're tired, will release the combinations, and you'll hit actually slightly hard. And this is just in my experience. Maybe other people don't have this experience, but this is what happens in my own internal system as I'm going through this, is you can hit harder sometimes because being a little bit tired, it wears down two things. It wears down your conscious mind, which you don't want to be operating with, and it relaxes your body by force. And so those two things combined, it's got to be a sweet spot though. You can't be so exhausted that you have no velocity whatsoever, but you should be a little bit tired, and that will accomplish having a really relaxed body and having the overmind do the work instead of your conscious mind trying to force it. And so that's the point I'm trying to make here, is that a lot of people go through life with the conscious mind trying to force everything, and it's normal to do that. Even I do that. You can't actually help from not doing that because you're in consciousness, and it has so many different, because we live in a systems world. The world we live in is a bunch of systems, and systems are designed by logic. And so logic and rationality are both great for designing intricate systems that govern the way we live and help us move through society and get to where we got to go on the day-to-day basis. It works great for that kind of stuff, so we live in that. But there's also mystery. There's also reason. So there's a difference between rationality and reason. Rationality is what I just described. Reason is similar. There's a lot of logic involved, but there's also room for mystery or inquiry. And there's actually a PhD that talks about this. His name's Eric Davis. He talks about inquiry and mystery and the difference between rationality and reason, and how mystery and inquiry is the cracks. It's like the Wizard of Oz. So you're watching The Wizard of Oz, you think it's all real, and then at the end of the movie, the end of the journey, you find out it's actually a little man pulling all the strings behind the curtain, and it changes the whole reality. So that's sort of like mystery and inquiry, what that means. It means when you get a glimpse into a crack in reality where you realize the relationship that's occurring to make reality exist. Like when people talk about the law of attraction and they say the law of attraction, like most people, when they talk about the law of attraction and you ask them, what's your idea of it? They're going to tell you it's to think about something, to visualize something really hard, and to put pictures of it everywhere, and to just keep thinking about it. And then it's going to just manifest. That was like the older understanding of the law of attraction, but I have a better way of explaining it. In my experience, at least, this is the way it unfolded for me in my experience. So, law of attraction, it sounds awesome, but I just look at it as you're using the overmind. So let me give you an example. So in life, we try to force things in life often. With our conscious mind, we try to force things to happen. And part of forcing things to happen is to use all these logical steps about how something is going to come about. But the reality is things work in ways that you can't actually see how things are going to connect for you in the future from the present. And like Steve Jobs has a big speech about this, about how he dropped out of college, did a calligraphy class, learned all this stuff about type and fonts, and then that's what enabled him, that creative process, which was different than the engineering process, enabled him to design the user experience for the Mac. And he said that had he not dropped out of college to do the calligraphy class, he would have never been able to design the Mac. And then, so that's an illogical step that he took in life. It goes against logically. You should stay in. And then also, there's this thing where he was adopted, and his parents that gave him up, the foster parents promised to the birth parents that they would put him through college, and so they were poor, but they saved up all their money, and then they put him through college, and then he ends up dropping out to do calligraphy. So like it wasn't a logical step for him to take in life. But that's what I mean, like people sometimes they get discouraged and stuff because maybe they don't think it's possible. It's all possible. Like most things are possible if you use the overmind. And so here's what I meant about the overmind and the law of attraction stuff, is that when you're thinking about stuff obsessively and you're doing it consciously with your conscious mind, like focusing on, okay, I'm thinking of the car and all that stuff, like it's doing something. It really is doing something, because you're more likely to see things that resemble what you're consciously thinking of, but it's not using what people consider the law of attraction. When you're wanting to use like the universal forces that are already in existence and to make things work for you, so you're not forcing things, and you're actually distorting. Gravity distorts time, space. So like if you're going to go faster than the speed of light, you're not going to try to travel faster than the speed of light and expect to make it from point A to B when the distance is remaining the same. So what you do is you project a gravity field that distorts space-time, and it brings point A and point B closer together. And so the distance actually becomes shorter when you travel faster than the speed of light. And the speed of thought is faster than the speed of light. So that's why when you're thinking, and it's like a workshop up there in the overmind, and you're like a kid. You're like a kid at play, hyper-focused, and this is real. It has to do with mirroring, because the way you learn things is the overmind has to create a holographic matrix of what it's seeing so you can mirror it. Like if you're learning how to make a cappuccino, you're watching someone do it. Your overmind is creating that holographic matrix of that person doing and pulling the espresso, and then you're able to mirror with your body the very things that you just put up here in the overmind. And so that's why make-believe is powerful. Make-believe without any shit. You're not supposed to even think about whether it's real or not. You're supposed to be absorbed in it, like when you're watching a movie. Like when you're watching a movie, you don't care like whether it's real. It doesn't matter. The point is it's real while it's happening. And so if you could do that in your real life, that's how you clear obstacles. That's how you distort space-time, and that's how you work with the overmind. Because like I said, the conscious mind is weaker. If you try to think your way through everything consciously, how will we do this in step A to B? It does work. It's like I'm saying, the society we live in is designed with it. It is efficient. It's logic-based, and it can create really orderly, organized networks of systems that are useful as hell. But if you're trying to skip all that and also use both, I mean, you have both options, so it's good to use both. And that's how you use the overmind, or you use the law of attraction, is what many people like to call it.